Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about how I class my Carrera cars from Class A to Class B to fastest to slowest. Very simple process, but more importantly, after I've classed them, I want to show you guys what I do to make the playing field even. Because you know, when people come over or we want to race a specific car, if it's not faster than the others, but you know, you really want to race it, how to make the playing field even and more fair for everybody. I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers at this moment. I've hit 500 plus. I've been in this hobby for just a little over a year. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody who's participating in the Discord, and the information that I've gotten up until now from you guys. The community is, you know, it's priceless, and it's really, there's no, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Thanks so much. It's been really great. So without me rambling anymore, I know, too late. Let's hit the table. All right, guys, so these are my cars in my Class A and Class B groups. My Class A being my best performing cars and fastest cars, and my Group B being my lower end, not so good. I do have a Pro Car M1 and a Pantera. I don't class those cars because I don't run them in the same groups. Right now I'm running the DTMs and the GT3s, as you can see, some GT2s. So this classification is strictly for my track and my cars and my collection up to date thus far. I would be showing you some real numbers, but since I did the time trials with Jen, we are getting better at racing. The motors are breaking in more, and these cars are performing higher and higher. That's why I'm not going to give you specific timings, so just take my word for it. Again, your mileage may vary, so take everything I say with a big bag of salty potato chips. All right, so let's continue. The Porsche, actually this Porsche here, the silver one, Jen has the best lap right now. She holds the track time record of 3.2 seconds. So my Porsche 911 RSR. So in first place we have the Porsche, like I said. Second place is the Audi R8 LMS. After that is the Mercedes. Sorry, I'm out of breath because this is the third time I do this video because my microphone was off both times. I don't know how I managed that. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Mercedes comes in third, and Lamborghini Huracan comes in the bottom of the A class. Now, the A group, A class, whatever, the reason not only is for their speed, okay, because, you know, some of those cars can actually match the speeds of these cars. It's the fact that they are better handling cars. We're going to go over that in a second as to why I think they're better handling cars. But for now, this is what makes it into the A class. It's a car that doesn't get all squirrely, even if the tires get a little bit dirty after a bunch of laps. So that being said, let's get into my B class, or my B group, which the top of the group is the Aston Martin, which I do have to say the Aston Martin is my only car that is modified, meaning that I've actually added magnets in the front, because when I first got this car, it was squirrely all over the place and flying off the track. And I just was not having a good time with this car. So I figured, you know what, let me just try putting some magnets in there. So I hot glued some magnets in the front, not the back. And the weight kind of helped it, you know, simmer down a bit and get some better timings and actually be competitive. So I can be pretty competitive with this car. I like racing it. She's really quick if I can handle the her squirreliness. So I just needed to say that. So the Aston Martin is actually modified. So you might have a different experience with it. If you do, please let me know in the comments below. So right now it's doing better than my Ferrari my Ferrari 488, and the Beamer is next in line, closest to the bottom, and last but and always least is the KTM Expo. So this puppy, I don't know, I'm actually doing worse. She had a 3.8 seconds as my lowest speed. Again, my track is 38 feet long in track, and the fastest right now is 3.2 seconds. And this is doing it was doing a 3.8, but now it's doing a 4.0. I don't know what's going on. I just changed out the motor. Again, this is the third motor I've changed out in this car, thinking it's that issue. Maybe I had done something. Maybe there was too much oil. Maybe I probably messed up, because this was the first car I ever got with, you know, lap to victory set with the Mercedes. But the Mercedes seems to be doing really well, and this guy is just, not good. And I have raced these cars with the upgraded slot invasion kits at Raul's place. I really enjoyed it. Jen and I did a race. Out of the lap to victory set with a slot invasion kit. You know, she was complaining, oh, well, you know, I beat you or you beat me with an upgraded car. But this car is not actually upgraded. When you spend the extra $50 before shipping for a slot invasion upgrade kit, I will attest that it does do wonders to the car, but it only makes it competitive. It brings it up to par with what I consider the A-class. So it's not something that is really, you know, tickling my fancy at the moment to be like, oh, I really need to spend an extra $50, basically almost a whole car just to get this car up to par. Now, I love the KTMs, I love how they look, maybe in the future, but right now, that money, my hobby money, is not going to be spent on updating. If there is going to be any car that I'm going to update or upgrade, will be the Ferrari, just because how is my A-class not containing a Ferrari? How does Ferrari not end up in the A-class? We'll see. That'll be the future, but whatever. I digress. So that's it, guys. Those are my timings. We're going from 3.2 to 3.8. This is the divergence, and everything in between, that's the lineup. You know, not good handling cars, not as fast, fast handling cars, and very good fast handling cars, yeah. Fast cars and better handling. That's what we have at the moment. Now let's get into maybe why. Let's just, you know, let's talk about that a little bit. Maybe why. I met this fellow online, Mr. Clint Hillard, and he introduced to me the theory or strategy. I don't know which one to call it. I'm not really good at thinking off the top of my head, but there's this triangle thing. I call it the triangle of Hillard, Clint's triangle, if you will. And he basically said, and I've heard other people talk about it, and we've spoken about it on the Discord with a few of the guys. If you measure the bottom of your guide to your axle, and then measure your axle here, if you get a little triangle thing happening, cars that have shorter top end and wider bottoms tend to perform better. So if we measure here, I believe this is, for the KTM, this is almost 8.5 centimeters, where this is actually 8 centimeters and just under. And the width, I believe, is a 4 centimeter, and we're splitting hairs here, because this is a 4.2 centimeters, and I believe the Porsche, if I remember correctly, I should have written this down. This is the third time I'm doing this video. You think I would have written this down. And this is about a 4, almost 0.5. I think it's a 4.4 or a 4.5 centimeter gap versus a 4.2. So that theory actually holds true, and I've tested all these cars and I've measured all these cars, and sure enough, as you go down the line, the better performing cars have shorter top end and fatter bottom end, and the worst performing cars have the opposite. They get longer and shorter at the bottom. So I don't know if that just made any sense. Have some fun with that, guys. This is backyard science. And another issue, I think, when deciding if a car is good or not, is obviously the weight. So this is the first time I'm actually weighing my cars and figuring it out. So I know that the KTM is a 115, and my Porsche, if we check that out at the moment, is a 109. So that's pretty, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of grams for a car, especially when the Ferrari is the same weight as the Porsche. Yeah, 109. And you know, when that happens, you've got a car that weighs the same, but now it's the balancing. Now it's where, you know, where is that weight coming from? Is it front heavy? Is it back heavy? Is it not giving enough traction to the back wheels? How wide is the base? And which makes it squirrely? There's so many variables, and that's what makes this hobby really fun, is because you can sit down, you can get lost in the weeds with this stuff, right? So we've got a 38-foot long track, magnets in, silicone tires for everybody. Porsche is number one, KTM Expo is last. Okay, so now how do I negate this? How do I say, well, you know what, if someone wants to come over and race a BMW, what are they gonna do? Well, Smart Race app actually has a feature that allows you, you don't even have to buy any add-ons, it comes standard with the feature, where you can see here, you've got the gas, the brake, and the size of the fuel tank. You can adjust the size of the fuel tank. So if I'm racing the Ferrari and Jen's racing, or someone else is racing the Porsche, you can lower the fuel tank, make it less, so that the fuel will actually be consumed sooner, making more pit stops for that car. It doesn't have to be the Porsche, it could be anybody. I'm just using that as an example. That's the example on my screen. And that's it. And you can do it that way. And that's one of the easiest ways to kind of like give the other person a handicap or make it more realistic. Another way is by purchasing the Fuel app add-on for Smart Race app and setting and going through the settings here and setting the lap time as to where the cars will start consuming more fuel. So if we go to the first setting here, we've got the laps per percentage of how much percentage of fuel will be consumed. And if you see here, as we're moving it up and down, it'll tell us in laps how many laps it'll take. We set it to lower here for 4 to 5%, which is about 25 laps, meaning that, you know, we do 200 lap races. So we're doing about 4 or 5 pit stops. And we've noticed that there is a difference of 4 more pit stops for the faster cars. Underneath that is the option to select what is the actual timing. So let me explain. What I do is I take the Lambo because it's the lower in the group A, and I take the Aston Martin because it's in the higher of the group B, and I split it down the middle. So right now it's at 3.8 seconds. So any car slower than 3.8 seconds, which is usually this class of cars, will consume gas at a normal rate. Any car going faster than 3.8 seconds will consume gas in a faster rate. Now, how faster? That's in the next setting of the options here in Smart Race, and it is default at 100%, which we found was too fast. It was a little annoying that the Porsche had to, fuel way, I think 6 more times than the cars. We didn't like that. It was just, you're running 2, and it just didn't suit our fancy. If you guys like that, that's up to you. So we set it to the lowest, which is 75%. So it consumes more, but at a lower rate, if that makes sense. The manual is very good at explaining this. I'm not doing a good job. Again, this is like my 3rd time. You would think I would have nailed this, but that's just me. And this is what you get. This is what you guys paid for. So all that being said, and then underneath that is another setting for how fast the car fuels up, but which has no effect on the race really, except for slowing down how many laps you get lapped once you're in the pits. But we're not talking about that right now. This is what I do. We set it to 3.8 seconds. At this moment in time, everything seems to be working. We're doing an average of 4 to 5 pit stops, and the faster cars end up doing about 2 or 3 more pit stops. And we find that that's fair enough that everyone, no one's beating anybody by like 5 laps or even 3 laps, depending on how many crashes. That's a different story. People crashing is a different story and learning the cars. But as far as fueling goes, Jen and I found a nice sweet spot here with these settings. That's about it. This is what I wanted to explain. My cars, I wanted to make this quick and dirty. My cars, A class, B class. If this helps you guys out, I'm really happy. If it doesn't, then you're here to listen to me talk, and I appreciate that as well. And that's it. All right, guys, that's how I class my cars, and those are the methods I use to keep everybody equal and fair on the racetrack. If you like this video or if you found anything useful, please consider hitting a like and a subscribe. Again, thank you so much for 500 subscribers plus after a year. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you in the next one. And like always, if it's good for you, good for you. See you in the next one, guys.